Welcome to Art Sparks. I'm Taryn
And I'm Siglinda. Great to have you. Thank you for watching. What are we talking about today, Taryn?
Okay. Today is something that is going to be, for me, it's going to be intriguing in a way that to understand it, and it's the art world.
The art world.
Yes.
That sounds heavy. Are we sure we want to do that?
See guys, that's the thing. That's me pushing it, and she's like, Taryn, are you sure? It sounds a little bit like dreading. Like, no, but I think it's a good idea because I always have the idea of all these pieces or these people, and I want to understand what what are they involved around?
Well, that's true, because here's the thing: when we make art, like we're part of the art world, but when you buy a piece of art, you also become part of an entire ecosystem. And I think Darren wants to make sure that we're all on the same page as part of that ecosystem. And but I wanted to play semantics here for a moment, because the art world does sound very heavy and this impenetrable beast, right, in their ivory tower. And it was pointed out to me once again when I was talking to a friend last week, and she's really interested in art, and she talks with me about my art, and she asks questions, and all of a sudden she tells me, yeah, but art, I often think it's not for people like me because I don't have enough education about it. I don't know enough about it. And I thought, why would you say such a thing? Of course it is for you. And then I thought, it's just the wording and the interpretation of the words have gotten such a bad rap. But you wouldn't say the high-tech industry isn't for me, so I can't buy a smartphone. You wouldn't do that, right? See? There you go. Well, it's kind of the same thing as saying the art world is not for me, so I can't buy art, or I can't look at art. And so then I thought, what if we change the art world into, the visual arts industry? Because in the end, that's really what it is. There's like the music industry, there's a high-tech industry, there's the visual arts industry. And then, I feel like we're bringing it down a few notches. It's just, a professional environment with lots of players. And as a collector, an art buyer, you become part of the art ecosystem in the visual arts industry.
See? Also, we welcome you world to our ecosystem, okay? Isn't it nice?
Yes.
It's like, come on in, okay? Yeah. But yes, and I like it because that way makes it down and be more like approachable.
Yeah.
But I want also to explain, when you hear about art consultants or art curators, and who are all these people?
Okay.
And what do they do? You
Okay.
know?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, okay? So we can have like all of you can understand, like, okay, what is this whole ecosystem about? Or who are they,
Okay.
And okay.
We did say mysteries revealed when we started our channel, so here's our chance.
Now, the only thing is like, okay, the main character, I think, well, not in the main character, but without art, you don't have any industry. So when you hear, I think the first people that you have to say is about the artist.
Yes.
He's the one who creates the product, okay? Let's start from there, okay? So the artist is the one who creates the product. So that's one layer of it, okay? The other layer is gonna be the art market, or is the one that is, and that one is clear in a way that is the one who sells and buys the art. That's you people, all right?
And us too, because we also buy art from other artists. We can do both, it's good
that's
karma.
True. Oh, that's true. We can change hats, okay? So we can be like an art collector, or we can be an artist. And now in that same art market, you can see art galleries, you can see the art auctions houses, the online galleries, the events, the festivals, the fairs. Those are all the places for you when you buy.
The open studios.
The open studios, all right? So all of them are part of the art market. So when you see about the art market, you can say, me too, okay? I'm part of it. All right? Yes,
me too.
All right, okay. Now we're gonna go to art curators, okay? Art curators is the person who's gonna select pieces for museums or galleries. usually for...
And books and exhibitions and catalogs and stuff like that, right?
Yes. And they usually, the other ones also, because they select that they can write and they can talk about it. So they can also write for magazines, or write for the catalogs on the shows. So those are the art curators. Yes.
I always like to think of an art curator as the person who selects the artist, but then also within the body of work from the artist selects which are the important pieces that need to be seen together, or from a group of artists, which are the pieces that are most relevant from this group of artists to be shown together in a beautiful unity that then sends the right message or communication. You know, art is always communicating something to a more general audience. So they're a very pivotal player here.
So if you don't understand a show,
blame the curator.
Okay.
Okay, I like that one. Oops.
Or ask the curator.
Yes, okay. Ask the curator.
And you know something, it would be good to have curators in here in the show. So let's look for one.
Yes,
Right.
that would be great. Let's interview a curator next. Okay.
Then we have the art consultants. The art consultants is supposed to represent the buyer. So for example, you go to an art consultant, he's going to tell you all these places where you can buy the art. They're going to represent the buyer. They're going to negotiate the price of the art. So that would be the middleman between you and the art, or the place that's going to be selling the art. That's going to be the art consultant.
Yeah, I want to kind of add, if I may, the interior designers in there, because oftentimes interior designers sort of fulfill that role of art consultant. Although interior designers themselves will say, and some interior designers have an art background and they can do full-on art consulting, you know, as the full-on package with their design. Or you could always ask them for advice. But most interior designers will say that if it goes beyond decorative art, if it really goes to more high-end art, more intellectual art, that they themselves prefer to work with an art advisor or art consultant. They outsource the art selection for your design. But they do have a sort of like similar bridge role there. And depending on the interior designer, it can be full-blown art consultant. Or they know where to find the right art for you.
And actually, that's a good point, because there's some there are interior designers that put also art consulting. Yes.
Exactly.
Then we're going to move to another layer. It's going to be art education, and as you guess, it's going to be what? Universities, museums, books, documentary, magazines, something that would teach, and the purpose of it is to teach.
And not just practical art, not just art studio as they call it. A lot of it is also just about understanding the art, right? So there's plenty of information out there. If you see an exhibition or artwork or an art genre that you are curious about, other than blaming the curator or asking the curator questions, we're going to be in a hot seat soon here. There are books and magazines that sort of help you understand it, and we read those too, right? It's not just for artists; it's for everybody.
And that's so nice about going to a museum, because in going to a museum, you can learn so much. So that's why I think the more important parts of roles of a museum is to teach you what new thing you can learn about art, and go deep into their life, into that life or that style of art they have. So that's the art education. All right.
Yeah, and most museums do a really good job of having these boards at the entrance of an exhibition where it sketches a context, and then when you look at it, you can interpret it from that context.
Which is always good to understand a little bit more when you're seeing something.
Yes. It takes a little bit more time, though, to engage with those boards and to absorb what it really says.
But it's very enriching, and actually can change your point of view a lot. I think, well, in my experience, when I go and see something like that, it's like, I like
Yeah.
it.
Well, and I've had instances where I read it and then I go to the exhibit and then I go read it again. It was like, did I really get what that board was saying? I think I missed a few things here. And then, you know, it all clicks into place. Yeah. Totally.
Which is nice. Then we move to nonprofit museums and galleries. And those are the ones that show the work, and their main thing is to show the work, not to make any money out of it. Okay.
Well, they still need money as an operating budget, but they don't have the commercial, like they're not there to sell the art. If they happen to sell an art, awesome, and it will benefit the artist a lot. And they will do fundraisers so that they can offer free admission to you, and so that they can have employees on site and they can bring the exhibitions and the programs.
And I think what happened, the main thing that they have in their mind, the purpose of it is more to educate and then to make a profit.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's the non-profit museums and galleries.
Yes.
And we go to the last layer here. It's going to be the art critic and historians. Now, art critic sounds a little bit harsh. It's an art critic. But actually what they do is they analyze and interpret, they evaluate the art, and they talk about it. That's what an art critic does. And
they review exhibitions. So if you saw an exhibition, right, and you had certain opinion about it, and then you could read what an art critic wrote about it. And most art critics choose to write a good review, or they don't bother writing anything at all. But however, some art critics do say like, hey, I got to stand in my integrity. And if a show is really not up to snuff at all, I need to share that too. Or they will make connections to other exhibitions and comparisons, and
and I like also point of view of them. A person who sees a lot of art, and they give their own opinion about what they want, how, what, and where. What are these opinions of it, or what is it they think about it? So I think for me, it's a way of thinking of how they're gonna describe it, or how they're gonna explain it, or what is it for them. So
that's true, because sometimes they use a different wording or a different interpretation than the artist would describe it, or the museum would describe it, or the gallery would describe it. That's true. Sometimes it brings another perspective to the table that, you know, opens your world wide open again. It's like, oh, I didn't think about it this way.
Exactly. And the difference between him and a historian is the historians are based also on the timing. Also, for example, this historians is based on time. They also analyze, but also based on the time that was taking place.
That it was created, you mean? Yeah, and that's so important, because all art is always a reaction to what's going on in society or politics or culture in the moment. But oftentimes we don't really see how art reflected that until like 10, 50 years later. And so that's where the art historians come in. They can really tie the artwork and the zeitgeist of the time, or the events of the time. They can really tie that together. And this can be, and it doesn't have to be like a Black Lives Matter thing or a pandemic thing, and then tying art into that. But it could also be, for instance, like Eva Hess is an artist I really admire, and what she was doing was very groundbreaking, especially at a time when women artists did not get as much attention as male artists. So stuff like that, you know, like now we would say, oh wow, that's amazing what she did. And like, yeah, but think back when she was doing it, that was a whole different ballgame. So it's things like that art historians help us put into perspective, and then, you know, it really enriches the artworks or the concepts or the drives or the thoughts behind it. Super valuable.
Yes. And that's it.
Well, that was easy.
Not intimidating. It was intimidating?
No, not at all.
We even talk about the art critics, okay? So, for people who understand or who could have a question about the art how it evolves, that's how it is. Everything that goes involved with art is part of the art ecosystem of the visual arts.
Yes. So if you buy art, you become part of the visual arts ecosystem. How cool is that? And now you know everything about it, and there's nothing intimidating about it.
No. So welcome to our world, okay?
Welcome to our world. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.